Earlier in this chapter, we ensured that no direct inserts will take place to the employee history table. Well, let's go ahead and try that out. Let's try to insert into the DBO employee history table the following values for a new employee. Employee 20, which will be Gail, and her last name is Wins, and she was hired on March 25th, 2010, working in location 1 for manager number 11. And we'll insert the default values for the last 3 fields. Let's run that. And it says, insert of new records to the employee history table must take place by inserting to the employee table. Oh, okay. So we're not allowed to directly insert records into the employee history table. Without a trigger on this table, this operation would have been very straightforward. We would have run this insert into statement, and that record would have appeared into the employee history table. What we found was that on top of this employee history table is a trigger that was waiting for an insert. And instead of inserting, it threw the record away and then gave us a message. As it's designed now, you will not be able to make direct inserts into the employee history table. We do want to allow you to insert directly into the employee table and then have a trigger on that employee table make the insert into the employee history table. Okay, let's give that a try. Let's insert into the employee table the same values we tried to do to the employee history table. Here we go. Let's run this. Okay. It inserted into the employee table, but it still seems to have prevented the employee history table. Oh my goodness, that's because it's doing it for inserts regardless of whether you inserted it or whether a trigger inserted it. Now let's just check. Do we have Gail Wins employee number 20 in the employee table? Yes, we do. Did she make it into the employee history table? No, she does not appear in the employee history table. So the TGR insert employee history trigger is going to fire off during any type of insert, whether you're inserting this directly yourself or the insert came from another trigger. There is, however, a way to tell these two apart. A trigger firing another trigger is known as a nested trigger. If you call a trigger directly, you have a nest level of just 1. If a trigger calls another trigger, that would have a nest level of 2. So what we need is a more discriminating trigger, one that will deny direct inserts at a nest level of 1, but will allow inserts from other triggers at a higher nest level. Well, currently, I have a record in my employee table that's not my employee history table, and because of the primary key, I can't insert it again. So let's pretend I never ever inserted Gail, and she's gone now from the employee table. Now, let's build our new trigger. We're going to type alter trigger dbo.trg_insert employee history, and we're going to put that on the employee history table. And this is instead of insert. We're going to put a begin, and then we're going to say print don't insert to employee history directly. A shorter message, but one that still gets the point across. Now this looks just like what the other trigger does. It's going to block every insert, direct or from nested triggers. So what we're going to do is put a condition that says if the nest level is equal to 1, then I know it's a direct insert, disallow it. If it's any other number, let's go ahead and take the memory resident table, the inserted table, and pump that into the employee history table using the following statement. Let's run this alter trigger statement. It says commands completed successfully. Now when I pump the record into the employee table directly, it says one row affected 3 times. Let's double check that. Let's look to see if we have all the records in the employee and the employee history table. Okay, is Gail indeed in the employee table? Yes, she is. How about the employee history table? Yep, she's there too. Lab 3.2, Skill Check 1. On the pay rates history table, create an instead of trigger called trg_insert pay rates history, which will prevent direct inserts into the pay rates history table, but won't prevent inserts from other triggers. Test that direct inserts to pay rates history fails, but inserts from other triggers will succeed. Run both tests by doing the two figures you see here. Skill Check 2. Write out the query you see listed here. Take all of the triggers listed in the result set and disable them. When you're done, requery, and the results should resemble the figure you see here.